time, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to get our Nmap scan going. So welcome on behalf of Offensive Security to our one time a month stream. This is live on Twitch, and if you're on YouTube, thank you for being with us. I've gone ahead and launched ICMP within Proving Grounds. Let's pull that up. See, I have it here. I have the IP, and I have the IP exported, the URL exported, ready for any fuzzing if there's port 80 open. I just like to have that kind of thing ready to go. But let's start with Nmap. We're going to do an Nmap-P-, that's 65,535 ports, -ST-SV, the target IP TAC open. This is saying perform a TCP connect scan. This is saying go for service version, and we want all ports, but we don't want to scan or check for service version on closed ports, so we provide that -- open, and that'll help speed up the scanning process. When that's done, I already have my cherry tree ready to go. You'll see we have ICMP up here, and we have our web services enumeration, any takeaway concepts that we get from this machine. The OS, web technology, host name. I should get the IP in here actually while we're scanning, why not? But the scan is running, and then as is normal, we'll get that into Nmap and we'll begin kind of dissecting it and taking it apart. It looks like we didn't get too many ports back. We have 80 and 22, as is often the case, web surface and SSH for administration. So I'm going to copy this. You know the drill. We get it into Nmap. And I'm going to remove this. I'm going to clean it up a bit. And I think that's looking good. And we're going to do some highlighting of things that stand out. That way it's easier on our eyes. We have OpenSSH 7.9, Protocol 2.0. We have confirmed that our target OS is Debian, so we'll put Debian right up at the top. Secondary confirmation through Apache, providing that it was running Debian as well. Nothing too out of the ordinary with the Apache version or that service, excuse me, but the surface is still there. We don't have any users or passwords, so right now we're going to put 80 HTTP here. We're going to put 22 SSH, and then we're going to start taking community suggestions, guys. How are we going to hit up the web? What are some things that we need to do? Some common stuff. I'm sorry if the audio sounds a bit muffled. I got a new mic and I'm figuring out the distance and such. Feel free to turn up my volume if you have any troubles. In fact, I will go ahead and raise that a couple decibels right there. So, robots.txt, derb. Okay, so I like it. File and directory fuzzing. What else do we have here? View the source, Luke. Yes, we're going to call that manual inspection. And view the source, Luke. View the source. You never know what's lurking in there. Let's take a look. Ferox Buster, derb. We're going to do wfuzz for our file and directory discovery. More enumeration. I see robots. I'm going to add some additions to that. We're going to have robots.txt, .svn entries, .ds stores that might contain valuable strings, things like that. Yes, CMS versions. Let's get to it. Before we do any fuzzing, let's open it up in a browser. Let's take a look at what we're dealing with. I'm going to copy the IP and load that up into Burp Suite's built-in browser, which is over here. And here we are. I mean, it's something, it's loading. Oh goodness. I see pinging, data directory not detected. Proceed to monitor settings and establish it. So we have monitor settings, monitor login. I mean, what are some things that come to mind? Default credentials, but it shows like, logged out, which is interesting. We can't, or no, it just shows log out. But visit the page, yep. Let's take a look at the page source. And nothing too fantastic. /config. So, okay, let's take a look at the URI. I'm going to copy this and paste it in, get rid of the view source portion. I want this in my notes because it's giving me a bunch of directories that I didn't even have to scan for. It's just very useful in that sense. So we got this, there we are. And I see down here a necessity. Let's go ahead and begin our file discovery and directory discovery. Is my microphone saturated? I mean, it's the best I can do. I hear it's all right. So what we'll do is we'll go back to our terminal. We'll echo our URL. I type a command called common, which is just a list of common commands that I use. I'm going to go ahead up here to wfuzz, and we're going to find fuzzing files. Notice that I provide the fuzz keyword, but I don't provide a trailing /. That's for when that's for when we're doing discovery related to files. We have wfuzz-c for color, -z for the file or data input method, which is file, OffSec list discovery web content raft large files.txt, and --HC404 is so we don't get any 404s in our output. We don't want that right now. We're not looking for that. And I'm going to go ahead and hit enter on this, and in the same time, I'm going to paste the same command down here, but I'm going to change raft large files to raft large directories, and hit enter. And we're going to see what directories and files. Notice with my URL down in this terminal, I have a trailing /. That's the key takeaway. So that means we're looking specifically for those codes that relate to any like directories that come back, like 229 bytes from icons and so on and so forth. Let's let this go. It's one of those pen testers with their feet up kind of moments. We're just going to let this go for a couple of minutes, and we're going to see how it goes, what kind of stuff we get back, what shakes loose. In the meantime, Deadbeef is asking, how did you get the / at the end? Did you define it via URL? You're absolutely correct. That's all I did. I exported a different version of the URL with a trailing / 100%. Good observational skills there, Deadbeef. Gonna be real here, it doesn't look like we're getting much back. And if we go to, let's take a look. If we go to the root, web root, right, just /, what do we get? Well, it redirects us to mon. So if we wanted to, we could fuzz past this. I just want to teach you guys the principle of, we always, always, always check the web root first. Even if, it wants to redirect them on. Let's see if there's anything that was left behind. It's super important to check that. I noticed something about this. Does anyone else happen to notice what's going on here? Does anyone else seem to notice what I notice? about our little monitor application? Anybody at all? Ping functionality, which makes me think, is that going to be like command injection of some kind? Ping functionality? Perhaps command injection? What else do we notice? Boom, someone said it. Monitored version 1.7.6M. I'm going to highlight that, bold, underline the whole deal, because we have a version now. We have a software version. Now that we have a software version, what kind of thing are we going to do? We can search exploit for what? Monitored. And let's see what comes back on the exploit database. We could also search, if it wasn't on the exploit database, where do we go? Check out CVEs, check out GitHub, but be careful with untrusted code, unverified code. Always be careful with that. I'm not seeing much coming back from here. All the core ones. I mean, we found Mon, which at the very least, but honestly, honest to God, I see index.php and Mon. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to say that we found /index.php and we found /mon, which is kind of the web root of the application versus the web root of the server. And that's about really all we got back. Everything else was a 403, 302 on the dot. That means the web root saying basically, yes, I got information back. It's a 200 okay or a 302, whatever it may be. Let's go ahead and clear this out, and we're going to move right along. So let's go back to our idea here. We're going to search for the exploit database. We're going to search for monitored. So I'll type search exploit and just monitored. And what do we have? Nothing. Is it monitored? Monitor ed? Let's see here. Let's copy it from, no. It's monitor. So MONITOR. Let's say MONITOR, like monitor. Version, 1.7.6. There we go, we got it. So let's search exploit for monitor. Okay, here we are. There's an authentication bypass for 1.7.6M, and there's a remote code execution that's unauthenticated. So what I'm going to do is copy the path. I'm going to right click copy. I'm going to cd into my vulnerabilities directory, and I'm going to type search exploit -m, and I'm going to paste in that path. That's going to bring it to the current working directory where we're living out of. And that's important because, you want something readily accessible pretty quickly. I'm going to move this to potential, just rce.py, so we know what's going on here for context. And are we just going to run this, or are we going to take a look at it? Let's nano rce.py, and I'm going to close out of this for a moment so we have a little wider screen. And what is it actually doing? It's saying that in this web application, we have the ability to execute code. And it looks like it's passing some kind of like PHP into the user agent header for the upload. Or is it? Is it in the content type? Aha. So we have, notice here we have PHP shell exec and all of our system arguments. That's going to give us a reverse shell, which is excellent. So we also, it's attempting to upload an image. So we see image /GIF, return new line, right? That's the content type. And then we have our file signature information, GIF 89A, followed by some miscellaneous information, and then a malicious, or a set of malicious code, a code snippet of very malicious code there. So if I launch it, is it going to go to the correct place? Do you guys see any problems that we might encounter with this? Just readily looking at this, let's enhance the size. Does anybody see what might go wrong with this? You don't have to look far. That's a hint. Why might this not work? Need parameters. Yeah, we can pass those in though. The script allows us to take arguments like arg1, sys.argv, and so on and so forth. No number, the agent, the URL. Sifine and a Rooney dude, and both say wrong URL, wrong root. Yes. So if we were to launch this out of the box, it would not work. And that's what we want to teach at Offensive Security. Sometimes exploit code, weaponized code, is going to require that you take a look at it and that you get a little bit of an understanding of what it's doing, right? If you have to move code around, you have to move code around. Not everything works always out of the box. And this is one of the principles that we teach in the OSCP. So I'm going to change it to the correct web root, which is /mon. And then we saw in our thing here, /assets php monitor info.php, right? Well, this is assets php. Actually, this is assets php upload.php. So it's hitting a vulnerable file for sure. And let's go ahead and attempt this. I'm going to Python rce.py, and it wants it in the format of target URL, listening host, and listening port. Sweet. So I'm going to bring this up here. I'm going to set up a netcat listener in LVP on 9090, and we're going to specify the target URL, which is, let's go to our browser. Let's just supply this because we know that the script, the Python script itself is doing the logic for us, everything past the web root. So we're just going to supply the URL as it wants. And then I'm going to do an if config on ton 0. I'm going to grab my IP here. We're going to need that because we're listening, right? We've set up a netcat listener. We're going to paste that over here with a space. That's the L host. That's us, our attacking machine. And the L port is 9090. And if I hit the return key, a shell script should be uploaded. Now we try to execute it. Nothing seemed to happen. Why might that be? Why might that be? What do you guys think? What if we take a look at Wireshark? Let's take a look and see what happened. I'm going to select ton 0, and it's recording, and I'm going to supply that. And then let's take a look at what's happening. I see a not found. Ooh. And do we have any towards upload.php? Okay, I see //. Let's right click and follow that TCP stream. Okay, there's our malicious code that it's trying to insert. We talk about this on Offensive Security's Web 200 or OSWA. I think we have 2 trailing // which we don't need. So that's why we always want to analyze the payload. Let's see if that's the case. I'm going to remove a trailing / here, and any go, doesn't look at it. What if I supply /, what if we nano rce.py and get rid of mon and supply that ourselves? /mon. Aha! We got it. See, a little bit of fiddling. These things take a little bit of fiddling, but look at that. That is, guys, that is bling, bling. That is bling, bling. We've got it. We've got it. It just took a little bit of modification. So that's our low privilege shell already. Look at that. Laser-like. It's a bling, bling new year. I agree, CyberSec. Nice, indeed, we did it. See? Look how, we're lethal as a team, man. We do well. All right. I'm going to go ahead and type a breakout command. This is available on my website, sirensecurity.io. It's just my blog. If you want to grab this, or if you want to grab my common, just head over to my blog, and you'll be able to find it. But we're going to break out. Is this a TTY? No, it's not. It's not a TTY. We need one. Is Python here? Yes, it is. So we're going to highlight this, get a valid TTY. Now we're on dev PTS 0, which is looking good. And we got our path. Distro global, some color because easier on the eyes. LL is not a recognized command. Well, it is now. And I'm going to go ahead and Control Z to background it, scare everybody in the audience half to death. We're going to STTY raw dash echo into the foreground statement into the reset, hit enter or return twice. And then we're going to set those columns and set those rows. I'm going to exit this right terminal, bring this up, and now we have a stable shell. If I Control C or I execute something, it's not going to terminate my session. Pretty nifty, huh? So we're now in the realm of privilege escalation, right? Knock, 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 FBI open the door. Very funny, very funny. So, we need to do privilege escalation. This is in the realm of Linux privilege escalation. And what we want to do is, I personally go through this manually. I know a lot of people like to run linps and such, but I like to do things manually. And yeah, grepping root, we'll get there. Let's check all the world writable directories first. Let's check var temp. Is there anything lurking in here? Like, anything there? I don't see anything. /temp. Don't see anything. Is there anything lurking in dev shim? No. Is anything happening on this machine out of the optional directory? Nope. What about where we came in? Var www. Let's check out HTML. We have index.php. Would that contain anything? No, it just loads mon. Does mon have any database information? We have a config.yaml. Theme, which just includes the theme. Cat settings.php. No, can we get any useful information out of this? DB creds, whatever it might be. It's all the CSS, PHP. Doesn't look like it. In fact, I don't really think it's using a database. I think it's just a little utility application that does like network or network rack monitoring. So doesn't look like much there. We could always grep-ri recursively and not case sensitive for the word password -- color equals auto out of the root of the source code. And we're going to get a lot back. But at least it's something. So that's a user password. It looks like maybe a flat file system. Have to look into that more. May require more inquiry. Let's go to the root file system. Can we cat etc fstab? As far as the mounts on this machine are concerned, are there any exotic mounts that we can work with? Like, is there any extended attributes applied to these mounts? It doesn't look like it. Unfortunately not. We can type mount to see if there's anything we could mount if we were able to move laterally and do such a thing. No, it doesn't look like it. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Let's check the home directory. We have a user, Fox. I'm going to open a new terminal, and I'm going to switch user for a second. And we're going to go to machines, cd ICMP. I'm going to nano users, and we're going to put Fox in here because we know that's a valid user now. We can also cat etc password if we want to verify that there were any others. And I just see Fox there out of home Fox executing Ben shell. So let's see what's up with Fox. We have a local.txt and a reminder. Okay, what's the reminder? Reminder. Crypt with crypt.php is done. It works. Work on decrypt with crypt.php how to. That's interesting. So there's a file on the system dealing with cryptography or something in PHP, and the individual who set up this machine has it placed out of their home directory as a reminder. That's pretty cool. I think we're going to come back to that. Let's do some other stuff. PSAUX and grep-i is one of the students suggested here in the chat for root, and apply -- color is equal to auto. It's really akin to like system hardening. Let's go up to the square brackets. So think required for Linux to boot, system kernel level stuff. And then the /, you know, could be user interface, networking, services, that kind of fun stuff that we're interested in. And with that being said, I just see Apache SSH could be useful. Ooh, cron. Maybe, pspy? Are there any running processes on this machine that the users or a cron job is performing? We could sit with our feet up for 15, 20, 30 minutes and see if anything pops. That's always an idea. Let's check the network. Netstat-ant up. And what do we got? What are we concerned with? Guys, when I type netstat-ant up, what are we trying to do? What are we looking for? Thank you very much, Havix, for providing my blog there. Yeah, the Linux privilege escalation. You need to be a good sysadmin to do privesc fine. Absolutely, I agree. At offensive security, I believe we try to teach thinking like a lazy system administrator, because if you think like a lazy system administrator, you're going to think about like configurations, you're going to think about misconfigurations, really. 631, what ports are listening? Well, Waffle's onto the right idea, but what do we look at here? Why would I look at the network for privilege escalation? What are we trying to do? Give you a hint. Think local. Think local. Okay, CyberSec says, what other software is running Enum? Absolutely. Like a database server, bingo. So if you're not familiar, anything off of 127 is the loopback. Think physical. Think very much inside your laptop, inside your machine. It's that link layer, that loopback layer that we're interested in, because these ports, anything off local, is not going to be found for context from an nmap scan. When we scan this IP, we're only going to see things that are hosted off as like 00 or configured to be shown off 00. But we also see 5353 and 631. These would all be things we want to check out. In fact, I'm just going to copy this, add this to my notation, and I'll put it under other, in case we want to come back to that kind of thing, you know what I mean? But we gotta stay vigilant and make sure that we're thorough with our stuff. So let's go ahead. I'm going to type Linux post. That's basically what an individual in the chat just linked. And let's check SUIDs and GUIDs. So I'm going to paste down here. SUIDs, GUIDs. Is there any easy escalations that we can get? So many times we'll find in machine hardening that a SUID exists that's just vulnerable or outdated, man. And we get shell. But let's go ahead and take a look. I'm going to scroll to the top, find SUIDs, paste that in, find GUIDs, paste that in, and we'll copy all of this over and see if there's anything exotic that stands out to us. You know what I mean? What's exotic here? I see sudo, but that's not exotic to me. PKExic, I know we had Poonkit recently, so that may be an avenue we really would need as a team to assess PKExic's version. We need to check the version of PKExic. We need to check like the kernel version as well. And with that being said, I don't really see, I'm going to highlight it, right? I'm going to highlight it because that's a potential avenue for privesc. If we're really looking for it, that's a kernel payload. But we also had something out of /home/fox, right? So let's go to home fox, or we're already there. And we have a devel directory. If I type get facl on devel, let's see if there's anything there. So the owner is fox, the group is fox, user read, write, execute. Let me just get some water for a second. Thank you. So, does anybody know, are there any system administrators in the chat that are thinking what I'm thinking? That's all I'm going to say. Are there any sysadmins in the chat? My feet are up on this one. Is there anything we can do? If I try to CD into devel, it's owned by Fox. We're able to look inside it. or we're able to traverse inside it, but if I try to list things out, it's not working. What would be the problem there? That sounds like a access control list, cough cough. Here's a little trick. What about privilege escalation through kernel? Not vulnerable. We haven't checked it. chmod. Not exactly. Not exactly. We don't have the ability to change. We're not a part of Fox group or user, so we're not going to be able to change that kind of thing on their behalf. So what can we do? Well, we can always ls-lsaht./devel, and that's not going to work either. Sometimes, however, with get like access control list, you can actually peek inside. Though I do want to mention something. We may not be able to view inside of it, but if we look at the reminder, they give us the file name. What if we try to cat devel/crypt.php? That's bling. That's information. This is custom content. And what do we look for all the time? Custom content. So that's bling. Now, what we have here is some kind of function crypt with DA. I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to look up PHP documentation on crypt, the crypt method. Crypt, what does it do? One-way string hashing. Crypt will return a hashed string using the standard Unix DES-based algorithm or alternative algorithms. Password verify is also compatible with crypt. Are there any things down here? Let the salt be automatically generated, not recommended. Okay, so it looks like they're putting my password into the crypt function, which means what we have might be the unencrypted version of their password. I have a hunch that might be what it is. So I'm going to say we have the user Fox, and we have maybe Fox this, maybe? Let's try it. If I switch user to Fox and try to supply it, that's, you see what I'm saying? Yeah, you see what I'm saying? See, a little bit of research, and heck, man, the answer stood out plain as day. Easy, exactly, right? We got this. Together we got this. So I saw SSH was open from the outside. This is now like, I'm going to move this to the top, dude. I'm going to try SSHing in as Fox. I'm going to copy the password. Oops. I'm going to copy that password. And I'm going to exit this shell. You know what I mean? I'm going to exit that shell, exit this shell, exit this shell, and we're going to SSH in as Fox at the target IP. Yes, and we're going to paste the password. Since we know that's their password, we're now logged in. I'm going to give myself some convenience here. I do like the color, and I do like my LL command. And then I'm also going to open, well, we'll close this down over here. And let's make this legible for everybody. If I hit exit, there we go. Blow that up. Now, what's the first command as a real user? In fact, we're going to go over to our takeaway with this. What is the first command as a real user, system level user? A real system level user that we want to type. It would not really work as www data unless you did some special configuration. Who am I? I like it. Okay. Who am I? Well, we're Fox. I see Wolf has the answer. We want sudo-l. So we want sudo-l, guys. Absolutely. We want to see what extended capabilities we have as a real user that we wouldn't have had as www data. So what we're going to do is sudo-l. Provide that password, just paste it in. Sorry, try again. I think I may have copied something. Let's copy this, paste it in. There we go. We got, okay. So we can do things. We can do things as root. This is already looking phenomenal for us as far as root is concerned. And this is going to be pretty fun. So, you make that look so easy like butter. It's just unbelievable at times. Thank you, CyberSec. Really appreciate that. I like what 0x Deadbeef is saying. They're saying check out GTFO bins at this point. Let's go ahead and try that. GTFO bins. And, excuse me, I saw hping 3 and kill all. That'd be interesting if you could get a privilege escalation through kill all. Because it seems counterintuitive. It kills a process, you know what I mean? But let's see. If we type in hping, is there any... Ooh. So there's a SUID, but we don't have it as a SUID, right? We have... If we go to our SUIDs, just a sanity check. As my old manager used to say, sanity check. Is it there? And no, it is not. hping is not here. Otherwise, we could have owned that machine with the SUID for anybody that was wondering. But we're a real system level user. We did sudo-l, and as root, we can sudo with hping. So how are we going to do this? Looks like --ICMP --data. Okay. Okay. So this is where we get to show you kind of a really fun privilege escalation. It's been a while since we've done this one, but I know what it's going to require. We're going to need to SSH as Fox at, let's grab the IP, right? We're going to need 2 terminals for this privilege escalation to work. While I'm doing this, does anybody know what I'm doing? Anybody know what we're doing here? Can anybody hazard a guess? One person says I have no idea. Okay, that's fine. Sudo-l. Remember that we have hping 3. What this means, who said I have no idea? Chickens for life. We're a real user. Look, if I type who am I, I'm Fox. I'm not www.data anymore. I'm Fox. So that means as root, because this is the way the machine is configured, chicken, or chickens for life, we can abuse, perfect wording there, CyberSec, we can abuse hping 3's ability to send information as well. So it's very much like standard ping, but it has some extra functionality. Functionality. I haven't had lunch today. So let's see here. Let's go back and let's take a look. They're wanting an R host, but we already have a thing there. Can anybody tell me, since we can do it as sudo, what type of file would we want to send that would give us, what type of file would we want to send on this machine that would give us root privilege, UID equals 0? If we could transfer a file of our choice as root, which one might we transfer? I like using hping 3 to seem to reverse shell. I like it. The shadow file, absolutely. There's a better solution. That was the second guess. I like what you guys are thinking of. John, unshadow. Beautiful thinking there. Very aggressive thinking. But what is sitting in front of us right here? What do we have? Look. We have SSH open. We have SSH open. What does that mean? SSH privilege escalation. We can SSH as root. You guys are getting it. SSH key of root. There we go. And that location for reference is going to be root.ssh. And then the key that we're looking for SSH exploitation is IDRSA. That's the one that we want. That's the gold mine. That's the loot. Make no mistake. Real world scenarios. You're on a team. You've compromised it. We're looking for keys, baby. Keys, keys, keys all day long. We could move across entire infrastructure if we got our hands on an SSH key, dude. That's real talk. So what we're going to do is sudo as user, or sudo, and I'm going to say user sbin hping3 -- ICMP, and instead of hitting ourselves, our attack machine, I opened up a second session so that we can kind of listen locally. So in one instance, we're going to type sudo hping3, and we're just going to say -- because we can only execute -- ICMP star. So whatever we're doing, it has to be after this. -- ICMP, anything goes. So -- ICMP, and what we're going to say is 2.127.0.0.1. Think local, think physical, think loop back, because that's what we're going after. 127.0.0.1. Then we're going to type -- listen. Think of like a netcat listener, right? All it does is listen for the incoming signature in the payload, the packet, the ICMP packet, and then we're going to set it to safe mode as well. And if I hit enter on that, there we go. hping3 is now in listening mode. It's a success. Warning, can't disable memory paging. That's fine. Now we need to send information. Okay? So we're going to do the same thing. -- ICMP, anything goes. -- ICMP. Except this time we're going to send it to the same thing, 127.0.0.1, right? But this time we're going to send at least 100 lines of data. And the file that we are going to want to send is, well, we need to specify that with -- file, or was it dash file? I think it's -- file on hping. But that would be root .ssh ID_RSA. If it goes through, there we go. And we hit send. Oh, look at that. Look at it coming through. Yeah. We got it. It's coming right now. Like that. How's that for bling bling? Look how cool that is. Isn't that cool? Who thought you could have sent information with ping? Well, you can. Oh yeah, let it come through. End open SSH private key. And then what it's going to do, because we specified 100 lines of information, it's just going to repeat the first line of the file to say I'm done, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done, that kind of thing. Like pinging the words I'm done, I'm done, I'm done. And so we're going to hit Control C on this, Control C on this. I am going to grab this. This is the loot that every hacker loves. So we're going to exit. I'm going to exit this shell, and I'm going to exit this shell, and I'm going to touch ID_RSA, nano ID RSA, paste it in, nice and clean like that, beautiful, beautiful, Control X, Y, enter, and here we are. I'm going to move, for consistency, I'm going to move ID RSA into the files, because that is exfiltrated information. It's the purpose of my files directory. Useful for a team if you guys find something and you want to toss, you're using the same machine, right? Same resource. So, at least on red teaming. But files extracted, files exfiltrated, IDRSA. And what do we have to do to SSH in as root? Can I just SSH-I IDRSA and then root at, let's grab the IP. Will this work? This won't work. This won't work. I'm loving what I'm seeing, though. Someone says 400. I don't think 400. It's 600. We want chmod 600 on IDRSA. And now let's try it. I mean, should I? Should I hit enter? I'm going to wait for you guys. You guys tell me when I hit enter. Because this is the moment of truth. This is machine compromise. This is bling bling. Press it? Are we going to hit it? Do it? Yeah? All right. As is tradition around these parts, we have bling bling. That is it. Cha-ching, cha-ching, indeed, indeed. Guys, that is compromise. Who am I? ID. So at this point, what would you do? You would check out the root directory, right? If this was a machine on PG Play, which it is, by the way, if you guys want to revisit this, ICMP. And you'd cat your proof.txt, right? Well, I like to do it like this. I like to clear it and then I like to do like if config, and then I like to do host name, ID, who am I, and then catproof.txt at the bottom. That's just the way I like to organize it. I would hit print screen. I'd grab this, and I'm telling you that's exactly, you know, what we need. So we're going to screenshot that, and I'm telling you what, that's going to go in my formal report as evidence of compromise for any stakeholders or clients. You know what I mean? That's what you want to, that's what they want to see. That's what you give them. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and check out offensivesecurity.com/webinars and see if there's anything coming up. What is Jeremy Miller? What is he doing here? Looks like Paul Griffin, head of customer success, is going to have a webinar. Oh no, already had it. How nice is that? December 21st, 2022. You guys can go watch that right now if you're interested. You can totally watch that. Aside from that, always be sure to check out Offensive Security's latest and greatest certifications, single-handedly the best certifications in the industry. And if you're interested in offensive security, each and every one of these, we have a syllabus. You can look at these. The one I'm personally working on right now is the Web 200. And yeah, I mostly do web content development here at Offensive Security. So let's go back to our terminal. I'm going to actually go back to this. Takeaway notes. What are some things that we want to do? Always try to get a stable shell. You know, this is one of those you'll thank me later kind of things. Just know how to do it. You'll thank me later when you try and execute something and you don't have to lose your shell for hitting Control-C or canceling, you know. What's another thing? Check service versions and application versions for exploits or weaponized code. Preferably, and I'm going to put in parentheses, preferably, if I can type, preferably verified, such as the exploit DB, also maintained by Offensive Security. And I think, you know, that's pretty good takeaway for this machine, nice and clean. And as always, what I'm going to do up here is provide the host name as ICMP. PHP was the web tech. And we got, you know, our steps down here and bullet points. I'm going to copy everything. I'm going to go into Discord. And I'm going to cancel on the keyring thing. Let this launch. And I'm going to post this. If y'all want to head over to Wireside Text, go on over to Wireside Text. And I'm going to put, this is the machine ICMP. This is on PG Play, guys. Accessible via PG Play, Proving Practice, or Proving Grounds Play. And if you're interested in Proving Grounds Practice, that's only $19 a month. And it's a plethora. I know someone mentioned Windows machines earlier, and it's a plethora of them. But there you go. That is basically what we're looking at there. But with that being said, guys, I mean, that's root. That's it. And I'm going to come over to OBS. Thank you all so much for being here. I want to say Happy New Year's, and on behalf of the rest of us at Offensive Security, we'd all like to say Happy New Year's to the community. You guys are the core of who we are. You're the heartbeat, and we appreciate you very much. And if you want to tell your friends about these streams, about our office hours on Fridays, if you have any questions, you know, just think, hey, I can ask OffSec themselves on Fridays, and we'll be sure to get around to those questions. Don't worry if you missed it or came in late, like, no problem. I'm going to have this up on YouTube, usually within like the next hour or 2 hours, give or take. But this will be up on Offensive Security's official YouTube channel. If you don't have that, make sure you bookmark it. There's a massive playlist there full of all the machines we've done, with a lot of familiar faces in the chat right now. So always check out those, especially if you're getting into this and you want some direction. You need to know where to go. That's why we do this. It's to help get you into the field. And well done to you guys as well for providing those suggestions. So we do have some timing announcement changes. We're going to keep this the time that we use today consistently throughout the year. So we have another 11 machines that we're going to cover in this year. And it's going to be the first Friday of every month. So expect to hear Siren's voice again, walking you through a box machine, whatever. First Friday of every month, I'll be here for you. And thank you guys for all the kind comments and being there for me too. So on behalf of Offensive Security, Happy New Year, and happy hacking, intruders. Catch you next time.